is what is it? It's Friday. Sorry. Let's see. I am up on um, YouTube looking around, and I see that our friend Jace is live. So let's do what we should do, which is go over and first we hit the like button. Secondly, we say hi Jace, and third, this isn't the official order, but I find it helpful to hit that like button as soon as you go into a live stream or anything. And here's the question: why hit the not like, the thumbs down? Um, just go about your business. Is my thoughts. But I guess it is an option. So, given an option, people will take it. I've gotten an occasional thumbs down, I'm sure. Hey, Miss Flipper, how are you? Just give me a second. So, as I mentioned, I like to start my own live streams. Well, here's the thing. I start my own live stream off before I hit the button, go live, with a little bit of breath work. I do the 3-part yogic breath. Do you guys remember the yogic breath? We have the easy breath. Easy breath is simply you breathing out, concentrating on the belly. Chest should stay still. Belly rises, belly falls. You don't do anything. You just watch. That's an easy breath. The 3-part yogic breath, or just yogic breath, is when we breathe and we fill the belly. Then we continue. We breathe and we allow the rib cage to expand from the sides. And then we breathe all the way up into the clavicles. And now we're going to drop. We breathe out from the clavicles, rib cage, belly. So reverse order. We breathe belly, rib cage expand, all the way up into the clavicles, lower part of the lungs, middle part of the lungs, top of the lungs. We're topping them off. And we exhale from the top of the lungs, middle of the lungs, bottom of the lungs. Hey, Anti-Greek, how are you? Anti-Greek, sorry, says, hey, Eric, and how are you? I'm doing pretty good. So that is a great centering breath. And I do that before I do a live stream. I do 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Vianney Lopez. Did I say that right? Vianney, I believe. Let's see. Ilios says hi. Hello, my friends. Let's see. Vianney says hi. Hello. And then I say a little prayer. Little prayer I like from, I sort of modify it intuitively, but the basic prayer as offered through A Course in Miracles is, what should I do today? Where should I go? What should I say and whom should I say it to? Let's see. Justin says, do you like dragons? I have no hard feelings towards dragons. My stepdaughter absolutely loved dragons growing up. So I say that little prayer. I modify it on a live stream. Basically, what should I say today? Whom should I say it to? Allow me to teach only love. And then I do the yoga prayer of Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, which is the prayer for peace. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. As close as you ever hear me sing on a live stream, right there. Because I want to put peace out into my live stream. I want to bring peace to each person that comes into the room, and may they leave with peace as well. Whatever the intent that you come in here with, if your intent is to troll, hey, be true to your intent. I'm fine with that. You do what you do. However, when you leave leave with a blessing. Leave with that grace of peace, peace, peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And then there was a long explanation. Sorry, guys, a long-winded explanation that I like to go on YouTube and look around. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Where was I? Let's see. Ilios says, I suspect. Thank you, man. Friend, that's much appreciated. Anna Greek says, houses in the U.S. are private and very quiet, for the most part. Anna Greek says, I wish I lived there. Hey, you know what? I don't know if I ever asked you how old you are, Anna Greek. You think you'd ever be able to move here? If you set that intent, if you have the energy, who's to say? Anna Greek says, Smart will be happy, 37. Happy birthday, my friend. I'm glad I asked, because now we know. Wish you happy birthday today, and if we get to see you tomorrow, we'll wish you happy birthday again. So, my live stream process, getting into yogic character, is, I don't know why I did the sign of the cross, is the 3-part yogic breath, little prayer, and then Om Shanti Shanti. Then I like to look around. Once we start the live stream, I like to go on YouTube and just see which friend might be live, and how can we help. Speaking of live, our friend Jace is live. Our friend My Food Addiction has been on her bike, and she is biking for watch hours. Didn't want to do her walk today. So you guys know My Food Addiction, right? Sheena, she comes here often. She's a good friend. She's a new friend, and bam, like that, has become a good friend. Much like everyone here. I can't drop links because I'm on my desktop. I wish I could. Let's see. Did I see Brian Lane was here? There he is. Brian says, I have some really annoying relatives that I don't like being around, and my neighbors don't like them, and I've been trying to change my mindset about it. Let's talk about that in 1 second, Brian. Annie Greek says, I reached the middle age. It depends. I didn't really feel like I reached middle age until I was 50, to be honest with you. You're a young man until 36. Now I'm considered a middle-aged man. And I'm going to be 60 in April. Brian says, Eric, I do love the book. I'm almost done. I know I've been working on this when I discovered a few years ago that we're all in the universe. The thing I'm working on is trying to be one with everyone. But I love the book when you said that like you are God's hero, we need to become one with everyone. Thank you, Brian. Much appreciated. Here's the amazing thing. You don't have to try to be one with everyone. You are one. Not just with everyone, with everything. You are one without any effort whatsoever. It is the same with when we talk about being in the present moment. There is no place else you could possibly be but being in the present moment. At the same time, you don't need to change your mind about anything. I'm going to give you a great tip. You can't change your mind. It's an impossibility. You, referring to you as an ego, will always pick. You'll always choose division. You'll always choose unforgiving unless there's a benefit in it for you. You will always choose The even when it seems like we're doing a nice thing, we're doing it for the satisfaction of I did a nice thing. However, the you I'm referring to is not the real you. It's not the real Brian Lane. That's all done with the ego. All you have to do is recognize, man, I'm having a hard time dealing with these people. I'm having a hard time forgiving. I'm having a hard time being nice to people that I don't even particularly like. Surrender it. That's when you turn, the Course calls it the Holy Spirit. You can call it the Tao. I know you resonate very much with nature. I'm turning it over to nature, to the Tao. Turning it all over to God, love. Because love doesn't need to forgive. Love is all accepting. God is all accepting. God is all inclusive. Doesn't need to do anything. So we turn it all over to God. Everything. Anna Greek says, Eric, how do you combat food addiction? I think small portions are the solution. That is a good way, but are you addicted to the eating itself, or are you addicted to certain kinds of food? At this point in my life, and it took me a long time to get here, I don't combat anything. I don't combat food addiction. I don't combat my former other addictions that we talked about before. Anything you fight, you give strength to. Anything that you combat, you've made into something. You've given it prominence, and it's the focus. This is why, when we have people who come in and say, why aren't you screaming at the top of your lungs to free Palestine? Because all it would be a voice in the wind. It would be me screaming at the top of my lungs. It would not do anything except lend energy to what's going on. It wouldn't fix it. It wouldn't change it. Everything starts to change when you're aware of it, when you go within, when you surrender. If you say to yourself, I know, Anna Greek, that you are, I don't know, would you consider yourself an atheist or would you consider yourself agnostic? But we all know that the ego is a myth. Who we think we are is a myth. So we could say pure awareness, if we wanted to be scientific about it. Who we are is pure awareness of which the ego appears in. So if you were to look at that food addiction and instead of combating it, surrender it. I know it's there. I know I can't change it, but I know there is something greater. There is my ever true present nature, and I surrender to that. And eat 2 or 3 times a day. Got you. Brian says, I still have a little temper with relatives of mine, but I'm holding my cool. The more you meditate, the more you do breath work, and the more you practice forgiveness. And by forgiveness, again, I don't mean those 3 things. By forgiveness, I don't mean saying, I forgive you for making me angry. I forgive you for being this way. You're not even forgiving yourself for getting angry. Forgiveness is simply saying, everything's okay. You're looking past the mistakes, yours included. And you're settling on that Isle of Peace. Herman Melville and Moby Dick called it our insular Tahiti, our insular island within a mad and crazy ocean. Let's see. Fella says, Brian Homeboy. Lane, what's up, brother? Brian says hello. Bud says, how you doing today, broski? Brian says, I'm doing okay. Thanks for asking. Bella says, I'm doing good, brother. Just working right now and showing as much love to the lives as possible while doing so. Well, that's much appreciated, my friend. Brian says, well, I do realize this is life, and we are going to experience all these feelings of getting upset or annoyed by some things. Let's see, Brian Lane says, Buddhists aren't atheists. They can be. I'd say Buddhists overall are more agnostic. The Buddha himself never addressed anything theology. Never really talked about God because, as he said, I am interested in suffering and teaching the way out of suffering. It's all I do. It's the same thing, every so often people ask about, am I interested in esoteric principles? Things along those lines. And the answer is yes, I am interested in them. Do I believe them? I don't know. Sometimes. Do I care about them? Absolutely not. Not even a little bit. I am interested in my own peace of mind and extending it to others. That's it. If studying an ancient thought or belief system is interesting and cool, if you think it's going to bring you an unshakable, great peace of mind, probably won't. But if it does, hey, that's awesome. Let's see. Anna Greek says Buddhists are atheists. Buddhism itself could be thought of as a psychological thought system. So neither atheist nor agnostic nor secular. But you could be a practicing Jew and a Buddhist. You could be a Christian and a Buddhist. Or you could be an atheist and a Buddhist. Lola says, atheists are certain there is no God. I don't believe anyone is truly atheist. Our perspectives change when we are in serious predicaments. For some people, not for everyone. Anna Greek says, serious predicaments make you more atheist. Atheists, non-atheists, they're still just terms. I love the psalm, be still and know that I am. Because if we ever get still enough, we enter a knowingness that defies description. This is why the beginning of the Tao Te Ching says the Tao that can be told is not the true Tao. The God that can be described is not the true God. The God that you don't believe in is not really God. The God that you do believe in is not the true God. The God that is, now we're getting somewhere. Oh, it says, gotta help, sir, yogi brother. You do an excellent job of it. I see you all through the YouTube streets. And you know what? Every place you go, you just got this tremendously positive vibe going for you. Beautiful thing to watch. Anna Greek says, every challenge makes you stronger. And weak people rely on a God. Well, that's the thing. I don't know if it's relying. How can you rely if you surrender? Speed says, good morning. Good morning, my friend. Brian said, that's great, Lala. Glad you're having a great day. Speed says, hello, Yogi Eric. Hello, my friend. Sabine says, hello to all friends in chat. Let's see. Anna Greek says, I believe more in Spinoza's pantheism. I relate very strongly to pantheism. I don't know, and it was Einstein who said, reportedly, I believe in Spinoza's God. Let me see if I'm going to Google that. I don't want to fall too behind in the chat, though. Let's see. Lola says, well, yes, that depends on the way things happen for the person, though. Mostly our death is what makes us want to believe in God. That atheist on the deathbed will pray. Anna Greek says, Spinoza was a Jew and is considered heretic and infidel by the Jews. Yeah, I don't know if he was actually excommunicated, but I think it might have been close. Of course, wasn't Spinoza very influenced by Schopenhauer? Schopenhauer, am I saying that right? Um, who did have a belief in God. Notice the hand gesture. Iffy. Brian says, well, my friend tried telling me that I can't like what Buddhists do, or I'll be in a pickle with Jesus Christ. And I just laughed because I love things from a Buddhist and Taoist. I think Jesus would have related very well to the Buddha as well as to Lao Tzu. And the Greek says, but pantheism is more logical. Brahma is everywhere and is everything. Yes. Yes, you and I are in complete agreement with that, my friend. Miss Blippa says, also called peace beyond understanding. Yes. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for dropping the link. My cat's here giving me a hard time. So there's pantheism as well as, oh, I can't remember the other, very similar, with one being that consciousness is the inherent thing within everything, that everything has a degree of consciousness in it. Pantheism, and I'm going to have to bring up Google. I didn't want to, but I'm going to have to. Every time I Google, pantheism versus pantheism. And pantheism is doctrine which identifies God as the universe itself, consciousness, everything. That God is consciousness and everything is inherently consciousness itself. And then pantheism, basically way of relating God to the world. The belief that God and the world are interrelated. Pantheism says belief that God and the universe are the same thing. And panentheism says that the belief that God and the world are interrelated. Hello, Destiny. How are you? Destiny says, hello, Yogi, and everyone in the chat. Happy Friday. May your day be filled with positivity and endless possibilities. Let go of negativity, embrace joy, and let your heart be light. Love you all. I love you too, my friend. Thank you for that positive message. Oh, it says, I don't believe you're a friend, Brian. I believe the true Jesus will, no matter what, forgive people who don't follow him because they were misled. I believe Jesus forgives all, no matter what. Well, that is the great lesson from the cross, isn't it? Jesus looked down from the cross and he said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. He didn't say forgive them even though, man, they did something really horrible to me. Forgive them, but make them suffer just a little bit. Forgive them, but don't let them into heaven right yet. Forgive them and name a condition. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Meaning, he overlooked the error and saw their original innocence. That's forgiveness. And that is what we are called to do. To be Christians, we embrace the lesson of the cross. Now, I'm not Christian per se. However, we can all embrace the lesson of the cross, meaning we will all survive our own crucifixion. Every single moment gives us an opportunity. Every moment on a live stream, every moment with a family member, every moment at work gives you an opportunity. Am I choosing the crucifixion? Am I choosing to crucify others, thereby crucifying myself as well? What I give, I receive? Or am I choosing the resurrection, my rebirth, right now, in this moment, as a child of God, as a son of God, as a daughter of God? Which one? That might be the only choice we really, really, truly have. Let's see. Destiny says hello to Lala. And hello to Anna Greek. Lala gives a very enthusiastic and warm welcome to our friend Destiny. Anna Greek says hi to Destiny. Everyone's saying hi. Anna Greek says, I'm not atheist, I just hate Christianity. I have a bad experience from it. Got you. I have had some fairly bad experiences within the realm of Christianity as myself. You can be you can follow the teachings of Jesus and not be in an actual religion. You can be a Christian and not be in Christianity. I always love, I think it might have been Wayne Dyer, he said, don't be a Christian, be Christ-like. Don't be a Buddhist, be Buddha, awakened. Don't be a Taoist, just follow the Tao. Jesus gave very simple and explicit directions. What did he say? When asked what are the greatest of the commandments, love God and love others as your own self. The kingdom of heaven is within. The Sermon on the Mount. He taught forgiveness. Hey, Wendy, my friend, how are you? Wendy says hello, everyone who is in the chat. Welcome, my friend. Brian says, I just don't choose to believe one religion is better than any other, and I will stay this way and die this way. I also like stuff from Krishna too. I do as well. I had quite a few times actually in my life when I had considered devoting myself to a path as a Hare Krishna. I like the chanting and the vegetarian food. But more importantly, bhakti. Bhakti is the yoga of devotion, one of the 4 paths of yoga as outlined by Krishna to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. Devotion to God, the God, as they say in Alcoholics Anonymous, the God of your understanding. Sweet says hello to Wendy Jane. Wendy says hello to Sabine. Ella says, Yogi, if God was consciousness, wouldn't that mean the universe is God as we breathe in and out air? I've heard of a God particle called orgon. I suggest people check it out. It would mean that. Absolutely. Here's a question. If you go outside, especially on nights where we're having the northern lights seen throughout the world, actually. But any night, any starlit night, I love the full moon. If you put your hand up in the air, both hands up in the air, and just reach. Is there any point where your hands leave off and the universe begins? Is there anywhere where the universe leaves off and your hands begin? It's seamless. One thing. As our friend, and I'm glad she's here today. I'm glad she's always here. Sister Destiny loves to remind everyone, you are the universe and the universe is you. One thing. Universe. One song. The creation can never be separate from the creator. Meaning, God created the universe. Out of what? If there was absolutely nothingness but God, everything had to come of God. Everything had to come from God. Everything has to be God. Everything. You, me, trees, rocks, thoughts in the mind of God. Creativity itself. Destiny says hello to Wendy. Brian says hello to Miss Destiny. Sabina saying hi to Brian. Let's see. Brian says, I like when Neville Goddard put it together, that it's all your imagination. I like Neville Goddard. Get one or two of his books right back there. Well, it says, Brian, I had a religion college class in 2013. I learned a lot about different religions, but my go-to answer to all religions is that we all speak of the same God. I like that. Let's see. Anna Greek says, I have a question. Buddha was vegan, and the tradition says that before his death, he tasted pork. He was basically a wandering monk, and they ate, as tradition, what was given to them. His own choosing would have been probably then mostly vegetarian. But when you are asking for food from the graciousness of acceptance, you don't say, oops, sorry, you gave me rice that has pork in it. Wendy says, I'm not too bad. Thanks for asking. Just Yogi. Well, I'm glad to hear. Just checking in, looking over, seeing if Stuart is still alive. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I got lost in the conversation. Destiny says, welcome in everyone, and please smash the like button, thumbs up, and share out the super amazing channel. Thank you, my friend. Oh, it says, that's a great question, Yogi. But you know what? Here's the thing. You will, Brian Lane says, universe. Beautiful. Beautiful. You won't get an answer, but you'll know the answer, if that makes sense. As soon as you try to describe it, it won't be it. It'll just be a description. Course Miracle says, symbols of words are but symbols twice removed. Symbols of symbols. Anything you say is not the experience itself. It removes you from the experience. Anna Greek says, universe is the union of the opposites. I would say union of seeming opposites. As the Course says at the beginning, what is all-encompassing can truly have no opposite. So if the universe is indeed a universe, it can't have any opposite, but it can appear to be dualistic. That's the whole philosophy of non-duality, which again, you can describe and you describe and describe, but until you've had a non-dual experience, when you've had the self drop away, if you spend enough time meditating, it'll happen. If you've taken plant medicine, it will happen. Sometimes it happens by grace. You just realize it. Anna Greek says, it's a natural dialects. Desi says, I agree, Lala. We are all speaking to the same one and only God. We just use different names, etc. The all that I is. The all that is. Brian says, that's good, Lala. Brian says, where's Night Watcher? I haven't seen him yet today. He was in yesterday. Oh, it says, Sister Destiny, thank you. I feel even atheists are part of it as well. It have made sense to me that an atheist called those who follow religion as a cult. Atheism itself can be a cult. I've heard, I think it was, man, who was the original guy? Richie Garvis? Um, Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert is has deeply Catholic, and he was asking very politely about, how can you know, be an atheist? Does it sit right with you? And he mentioned there's thousands of religions, from different shamanistic positions to the organized religions that we know, to lesser known religions, to religions that have fallen out. And he said, as a Catholic, as a Christian, you don't believe in 99% of those other religions. I just believe one less than you. Don't believe any of them. I think people confuse an atheist with being against, that I'm against religion. I'm not saying me. Technically, I'm not really an atheist. I'm not an agnostic either. I'm a nothingness. I don't have a label. So we're just subtracting one more. An atheist is just subtracting one less thing to believe in. Everyone who has one faith totally disregards every other faith on the planet, every single other faith, and say, well, this is my faith, this is what I believe. An atheist just says, well, I don't need that one either. In a way, some of the most deeply caring and kind and committed people are atheists, because they are not doing anything for the sake of, is it going to get me in heaven? Is this good karma? Is this bad karma? Am I going to be awakened or enlightened or whatever? They do it from the sheer goodness of who they are. It's pretty amazing. Let's see. Lola says, Sister Destiny. Yep, I read that one. Lola says, thank you, Brian. Brian says, I learned from Neville Goddard in 2021 from Liber Alexandra's channel. Gotcha. Many of Wayne Dyer's later teachings, he taught quite a bit of Neville Goddard. Destiny says, I do agree with that as well. I spent many years studying different religions and even got college degrees in that field. Thank you for sharing. Nice. Hey, Mir. Mir says, hey, Sir Yogi. Beautiful people there. Hey, Rick. How are you? Earth Guide and Thought Therapist. Good evening. Good evening, my friend. Oh, it says, thank you as well. I appreciate all perspectives. Evan S. says, do you jog? Only a little bit nowadays. I spent a decade ultra running. Everything from 50K to 100-mile races, 24-hour races. So I'm sort of semi-retired. I walk 2 or 3 times a day. Fairly long distances on some days. Every once in a while I throw some running in just for fun. I still enjoy it. Maybe one day I'll get back into ultra running. Today, by the way, was my slight, with some trepidation, step back into kettlebell sport, which I stopped doing competitively 2009 when I got into ultra running. We'll see how it goes. Ella says, what's up, Brother Mir? Hey, Jace. Jace says, that's me. So everyone's saying, hey. Ola says, how you doing, Brother Jace? Mir says, how you all, my friends? Ola says, I'm doing good. How are you, brother? The problem is when we get lost in the distinctions that we make. When we base our beliefs entirely upon the ego. As it says in the Course in Miracles, you have 2 voices in your head at all times. You have the voice of the ego, which always says, I'm right, everyone else is wrong. And if you agree with me, you're smart. If you don't agree with me, you're not only wrong, you're not too smart. Um, if you yourself doubt the ego, you get in an argument with yourself. It's this constant narration going on in your head. The ego is fiction. It's always wrong, and it's fiction. The other voice is the voice of the Holy Spirit, the voice of Spirit itself, the voice of the Tao, the voice of I am. And it's always right, because it is the voice of love. So in any moment, what voice are we choosing? If we are arguing about a religion with someone, even if we're an atheist, if we're arguing and saying your religions are wrong, we're choosing the ego, and we're wrong. Instead, if we listen to the voice of the Holy Spirit, which is always accepting, always open, always kind, doesn't need to be right, doesn't need to prove it's right, because it simply is. Isness is. Doesn't need to be right, doesn't need to be wrong, because it just is. You can't argue. You can't argue against is. Richard Bach, the wonderful author, he wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull and Illusions. I recommend everyone read Illusions. Called it isness, the isness. What a perfect description for God. Isness. There's a Judaic tradition of simply saying God is and then stopping, because anything you say afterwards is just a description of God and not God, just a description, which is again why the Tao begins with the Tao that can be told is not the true Tao. If your religion, your theology, your practice does not bring you peace, if it's always choosing the path and the voice of the ego, and it never brings you to that silent voice of love, the silent voice of God, as Herman Melville said, silence is the only voice of God, then ask yourself, does this path have heart? This is what Carlos Castaneda was told by his mentor, teacher, the Yakoi shaman. Does this path have heart? And then listen. Listen to your own heart. It will give you a sign. Does this path have heart? If it doesn't, don't follow it. If it does, man, follow it with joy. Follow it with happiness. It might veer off in another direction. But again, as Wayne Dyer beautifully says, don't be a Christian, be Christ. Don't be a Buddhist, be Buddha. Don't be a Taoist, be the Tao. Or more simply, just be love. It's one of Ram Dass's last books, Be Love Now. Because truly, that's all you can actually truly ever be. Love. It's who you are. I think if you never got past the introduction to A Course in Miracles that says, only love is real, nothing unreal exists, therein lies the peace of God. So a lot of people would like to hold things up and say, well, what about this? What about the war in Palestine? Is that real? That's not love. It isn't love. It's not real. Not in the ultimate sense of reality. Our perceptions make it real. It's all based upon thoughts. What if someone didn't have the thought of Palestine? What if someone didn't have the thought of Israel? You didn't have that thought. What were there to be fight over? What if there wasn't the thought of Allah? What if there wasn't the thought of Yahweh, God? What if we just didn't have that thought? God itself, isness, would still exist, would still be everything. But without that thought, what would we be fighting over? It's our perception that things are this way, but doesn't make it that way. Perception is an illusion based upon fear and judgment. So we can project fear and live in a fear-based world of our own mind's creation, or we can extend love and live in a world of love. Simple choice. Let's see. Brian says, going back to what I was talking about in the beginning, sometimes I feel like I need a vacation from my relatives. I have to not let them bother me. See, it's kind of my mindset, like I was saying. It is a mindset. That's actually great news and a great realization, because you don't have to keep that mindset. All kinds of different mindsets you can have. What if every single relative was, no matter what they did, was asking for love in the only language that they have? Maybe that language is rudeness. Maybe that language is callousness. Maybe it's anger. But all of it is asking for love. If we see deeply enough, we see that they're asking for love. If someone asks you for directions, but they don't speak English very well, do you listen closer so you can help them? Do you try to figure out what they're saying so you can help them? Or do you dismiss them and say, well, I'm having a hard time understanding, I'm in a hurry, better things I could be doing, you're not from around here, you don't speak the same language as well as I do, gotta go. Could do that. Now, in life, you'll be given other opportunities until we see through all of that. And so we see through the projections, which means we've learned. Now we're love. Now we've come back to knowing ourselves as love, and all we have to give away is love itself. Great example is an orange. It works great with oranges. It doesn't work as well with onions. When you squeeze an orange, only orange stuff comes out. Orange juice, orange pulp, orange skin, orange stuff. Because that's all an orange is. Orangeness. Orangeness? There's got to be a way of saying that, right? That's all there is. Who you are is love. The orangeness of love. That's who you are. However, there is the appearance of an ego that we believe we are. You squeeze an ego, you only get ego stuff out. Don't fight the ego. Don't combat the ego. Just recognize you are not the ego. Not solely. The ego is appearing, an appearance of you, but is not you. When you squeeze love, what comes out? Love. Only love. Nothing bad can ever come from love. Ever. Because it's love. Don't confuse our concept of love with love itself. That's more like affection. That's loving with a condition. If I think about it, I will bring up St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians, which I should read every day on every live stream because it's so beautiful. Let me get caught up in the chat and then I will. Ella says, Brian, maybe you can take a small vacation for yourself from them, even if it's just a day if possible. Yeah, that's a great suggestion. Get out in nature. Rejuvenate. If you've ever spent time on Brian's channel, you know his deep love of nature. Well, it says, don't blame yourself or be down over the feelings or anything. Sometimes we do need a break from the routine and people around us. This is true. Hey, Dredson, my friend, how are you? Oh, it says, what's up, Dreads? Dredson says, Lola, what's up? Dredson said, make me think of coal. If you squeeze coal hard enough, you get diamonds. But it was diamonds all along, maybe. It is always the substance of diamonds. Evan says, why, if the people you love turn everything you say into negativity and then blame you for the negativity that they orchestrated and denied their involvement? Why does that have anything to do with you? If you think about that. What they do. Does that have anything to do with you whatsoever? You could say, well, I'm in the same house, I'm in the same thing, but are you in the same head? Are you in the same thoughts? what they do, there was a great book in the 1980s, Terry Cole Whitaker. Um, I'll be honest with you. I might have the book on the back shelf. I don't think I ever read it. I bought it because I love the title. What you think of me is none of my business. What you think of me is none of my business. That's their thoughts. That's their actions. You can be independent. Abraham Maslow, considered the founder of positivity psychology, wrote the Hierarchy of Needs that every student of psychology studied, talked about the self-actualized person, people who are living at the highest level of that actualization. And someone asked him, so what is a self-actualized person? And he said, a self-actualized person is independent of the good opinion of other people. Meaning he's not concerned with your opinion. I honor you, I love you, I respect you. I don't care about your opinion. I don't care about your thoughts towards me. Because when you're self-actualized, you're independent of them. You answer to your intuition. You answer to spirit. You answer to love. So if your choice is listening to love or the ego, why add a third choice in? Listening to love or someone else's ego? That's even worse. I got enough time dealing with my ego. Now I got to deal with your ego as well. Forgive. It comes back to forgiveness. Forgiveness means I'm looking past the ego. I'm not looking at the effects. I'm looking straight to the heart of the matter, which is love. That's the nature of Namaste. The love, the divinity, the light within me recognizes and salutes the love, the divinity, the light within you. Brian says, yes, it was probably good to talk about what bothers me. Yeah, I'm going to be going to work in a bit. Hey, Brian, feel free to text anytime, my friend. We could even FaceTime if you want and do some breath work together. Well, it says, always a good event, Brian. Nobody should hold things in. Hurts and hinders us internally. Evan says, it's like trapping an animal and poking it with a stick. Or we can let the animal go. Put the stick down. Let the animal go. Well, it says, in case I don't see you, and goodbye, Brian. Have an amazing day, bro. You know, man, I look at the people who come and hang out in my live stream, and I can't help but think how lucky I got, how fortunate I got. We got people like Brian and Lala, Destiny, Dreadson, Jace, Evan S. And of course, Mir. Don't want to leave anyone out. Rick Paul, as well as Sabine. Let's see. Well, it says, oops, Brian says, I was thinking I was in a higher vibration. I wouldn't let stuff like that bother me sometimes. I'm in a higher vibration. You know what, Brian? Sometimes things bother us, and it's okay. There's no need or reason to ever negate your experience. Let the fact that something bothers you be a signpost. It's a guide. Something bothers you, examine it, look at it. Ask, why is this bothering me? And more importantly, who is it bothering me? Is it bothering my ego? Can it truly bother me if who I am isn't the ego? If who I am is pure awareness, I'm simply aware that my ego is being bothered. Not me. Awareness itself unaffected by that in which it is aware of. There's never been a point when you haven't been aware. There's never a point when you're not aware. Awareness is unconditional. Awareness is love. Just keep giving yourself back to that. Keep giving it back to I am. That which precedes everything. You don't need to vibrate any higher than you're vibrating right now. Brian Lane, an extremely kind and decent young man. Just be Brian Lane. Brian Lane isn't an ego. There's an ego appearing within Brian Lane, but Brian Lane is not the ego. Brian Lane is pure unconditional love / awareness. So anytime anyone brings something to you, it's basically a gift. I read this last night. Let me read it again. And then I might read St. Paul. This is from the great, great Sufi poet. The guest house. This human being is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even as they are a crowd of sorrows, even if they are a crowd of sorrows, who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door, laughing, and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Each has been sent from a guide from beyond. So whatever a relative brings you, what a gift. The meanness, the nastiness, the pettiness, the arguments, what a gift. Because now you get to look at it and you think, what are you trying to show me? Can I love even when this is happening? 9 times out of 10, maybe you can't. That 10th time is magic. And when it happens once, it can happen again and again and again. It's a practice. Everything. All of life. We don't need a spiritual practice. We have life. Life is our spiritual practice. These are your teachers. There's a yogic saying. If you think you're enlightened, go spend Thanksgiving with your family. See, it's easy to be enlightened when you're in an ashram. It's easy to be enlightened when you're a monk. It's easy to be enlightened when you're a hermit in a cave. When you're dealing with the nitty-gritty, everything's different. That's where is it the pedal meets the road? Is that the expression? Evan says, hey man, I hear you, but it's so difficult to deal with. It is. But hey, who said life was going to be easy? Probably someone, but they might have been lying to you. Life can be easy, and life will be easy the more you practice. Well, you know, I'll use baseball because our friend Brian Lane is a baseball player and loves baseball. Did you hit the ball the first time you took a swing? Ever? Maybe you did, but probably you didn't do it consistently. You practice. Your family, your friends, your teachers, all of them, they are great teachers. Pretty awesome. Miss Flipper says, me. Nella says, I'm back and forth with my work. Brian, that's why. Brian says, oh, thanks, Nella, I'm not leaving this minute, but you do the same. Hey, Easy, how are you? Our friend Easy has a brand new copy of A Course in Miracles. I, right here by my side, have a very old copy, a 1993 edition of A Course in Miracles. Brian says, I can't be here when I'm working. Would be awesome if I could. Just send me a text sometime, Brian. Hey, send me a text on Facebook, and I'll send you my number, and you can text me straight to the phone. That goes with anyone. Anyone who wants to reach out on Facebook and connect. Ella says, Brian, I work from home and a web developer and designer, so I can chill all day and lives. But most times I won't be talking if I'm coding. Nice. Brian says, thanks, Eric. Absolutely, my friend. You know, one of the great things in the Course of Miracles is we teach what we need to learn. So when you guys hear me talking and talking and talking, I'm learning. You guys are my teachers. Everyone, every single person. The trolls. This is why I personally don't get rid of anyone. The only time I'll like, I'm not even sure if I've ever deleted a comment myself. The only time I would, um, I think if it would be something that might be flagged or something that completely disrupts the conversation. Um, but generally, that's my opportunity. Can I be responsive instead of reactive? And I love the term responsibility. My ability to respond. When I respond, I'm acting from love, thoughtful, mindful, demure. That was for our friend Goga, by the way. When I'm reactive, there's a time to be reactive. When a saber-toothed tiger jumps out in front of you, react all you want, guys. Fight and or flight. I recommend flight in face to face with a saber-toothed tiger. I recommend flight. Unless you're Brian Lane. Brian Lane can take a saber-toothed tiger. Um, reactive puts us to safety, but we have this low level stress in our lives. We're always reactive. We react in traffic jams. We react when someone cuts us off in traffic. We react when someone bumps into us. When someone says something rude in a live stream, we react, we react, we react. Keeps us at that low level of stress all the time, just a pinpoint away from exploding. It's a horrible way to go through life, guys. High stress. This is why we're, it's a medical marvel that we even survive to the age of whatever. If you want to be truly healthy, reclaim your responsibility, reclaim your responsiveness. You can retrain that by tuning the vagal nerve through breath work, through yoga, through Tai Chi, through Qigong, deep prayer, meditation, fishing, being out in nature, putting your feet in the stream like Brian Lane does. And as I mentioned before, if you want to learn some breath work, the easiest way, look me up on Facebook and we'll FaceTime. Certified breathwork coach, certified meditation teacher. As I tell people, I teach my friends and my family for free. If you are here, you are both friends and family. If you feel like donating, that's fine. I don't say no to someone buying me a cup of coffee or donating the amount of a cup of coffee, whatever. It's all good. If you can't, if you don't want to, if you give me a kind word, there you go. That works for me. You can come in a live stream and say, Eric, my friend, you are the most handsome person who has ever live streamed before on any live stream in the history of live streams. And as payment for breath work, I'll take it. I might not believe you, but I'll take it. Hey, Daisy. Daisy says, hey, Yogi. How are you, my friend? You know, I come away from every Daisy Made live stream and I think, what a beautiful time I just spent. An absolutely beautiful time. You're not going to get fireworks in a Daisy May live stream. You're not going to get drama. You're not going to get political debates. You know what? You're just going to get this soothing presence. Nice talk. It just reminds me, you know what? When you visit a relative, family member that you cherish, and you're sitting out on a deck with a cup of coffee, and you're having this truly, sometimes deeply meaningful, sometimes just nice and easy, but always, always loving and pleasant. That's hanging out with Daisy May and her chat. Me, my live streams, I talk about wombats. all kinds of stuff. Wombats, crabs, oysters. Olympic Lifts Unofficial says, what's up? Hey, my friend, how are you? Man, I spent a few years in the late 90s and the early aughts. Olympic lifting, non-competitively, I absolutely love Olympic lifting. As my joints, as I got a little older, got a little beat up, I started doing kettlebell sport because it was called poor man's Olympic lifting. And you did it for repetition. I gave that up to ultra run for a decade. Then I was doing burpees for 1,000+ days in a row. Today was my re-emergent into kettlebell sport. Very light, but I'm looking forward to it. Hey, Toy Pop says, thank you for your support today. Eric, we love you so much. I love you too, my friend. Daisy says, great you. Daisy says, oh my God, thank you. No, you know what? One, you're welcome, my friend, but thank you. It's just, again, it's a beautiful time. Daisy says, you're so sweet, Eric. Only after I've had my coffee. Only after I woke up, did my breath work, meditated, 20 to 30 minutes of yoga, had my coffee and wrote, then, you know what? I can be okay. I can be okay. Catch me before that, I can be a little grumpy. That's actually not true. I guess I can be grumpy. It's been a while since I have been. I have no one here to be grumpy to, except for my cats. Mocha and I don't live together any longer. I was never grumpy with her. And if I'm grumpy to my cats, they don't care. Daisy says, I love your streams too. Very interesting and entertaining. Well, thank you. Toy Pup says, Jesse Yogi is my hero. His words are gold. Occasionally. If I get out of my own way. I was talking about some Judaic traditions. And there was a great, great rabbi, who I don't know his name, and it doesn't matter for the sake of the story, who would get up and start giving great sermons. And then he would abruptly sit down and stop, not say another word. He would put out pure gold, and then he'd stop. And someone asked him finally, why? Why do you do this? And he said, because I open myself up to speak from love, to speak only of love, to speak of the love of God. And when I hear myself talk, I know I'm not hearing the voice of God. I know I'm not hearing the voice of love. I'm hearing my own voice. I'm hearing my own ego. And so I sit down. So sometimes I can hear that voice of love. 90% of the time, I hear myself talk. I should learn to sit down. Wetback says, it's crazy. While I do $1.80 and a mustard Mercedes, I moved the mustard from Russia to Haiti. 45s will kiss your neck like a touch from a lady. Just because I don't want to get a flag, I won't say the word. Just another, and I won't say that, and I won't say that. With rabies. Probably lost the message when I didn't say the words I was supposed to. Let's see. Toy Pup says, Wetback, we subbed. Nice. Wetback has become a good friend of ours. Hey, Jacob. My friend, how are you? Let's see. Stuart says, hello, my dearest brother, Yogi Bear. Hello, my friend Stuart. Are you guys subscribed to Stuart? Another great live streamer, as is Toy Pops. I keep mentioning this to people. Guys, show up on a live stream. Love our Toy Pops. And you will get a song. And that song has been guaranteed. And it'll be a song that you never heard before. It'll be spontaneous, on the spot. And it will be sung beautifully. Daisy says, much love, my friend. Thank you for that. We get some heart emojis from Toy Pups. So it says, how you doing today, brother? Stuart, I'm doing pretty good. Relaxing. Took a couple walks today. I saw some woodpeckers that I got a film of. I saw some deer that I got a film of. It occurred to me, I try to film something every day because it keeps the gates of inspiration open. If you are an artist of any kind, do it every single day. Doesn't matter what your art is. You do it every single day. You know what? Since I became friends with Stuart the Fish Whisperer, I don't think I've missed a single day of him not tying ties. Every day. And trust me when I tell you, Stuart is an artist. Unflappable in what he's doing. Concentration, and yet still having a great conversation. He's an artist. He's a Zen master. The Zen master of the fishing world. But he does it every day. If you want to be inspired, inspiration is your birthright. In spirit, inspire, the breath. You can't feel to be inspired if you're breathing. But we can feel to know that we're. How often do you check in and recognize that you're breathing? Simple, breathing in, breathing out, just noticing it. If you don't notice your breath, then 90% of the time you don't notice. 99% of the time you don't notice inspiration being present. And then you sit down to do something and you think, I'm not inspired. I can't think of anything to write about. I can't think of anything to paint about. But it's always there. Look out the window. You can write about a single blade of grass in an infinite sea of grass. You can write about a cloud. You can open a book. Any book. Let me grab a book. No plan. Pick out a word. Pick out a sentence. The Purified Mind. Page 46. I can write about the purified mind. There's always something to write about. There's always something to paint. Invite inspiration. The great playwright Somerset Maugham was asked by a group of creative writing students, is it better to write when you're inspired or by appointment? Meaning you schedule a time. This is my writing time. And he said it is always better to write by inspiration. But fortunately, inspiration shows up at my desk every morning at 9 a.m. You got to call for the muse. You got to open yourself up. Rokushimo, my friend, how are you? Welcome back. Jacob is dropping links. Thank you so much, Jacob. Hey, Leo. Leo says, much love and respect, Brother Yogi. Much love and respect to you, Brother Leo. How are you? Brother Leo, if I'm not mistaken, was St. Francis's closest companion. I don't know if it was his actual brother. I don't think so. But Brother Leo. So I always loved Brother Leo as well. Irving Stone wrote a beautiful book. Was it Letter to Theo? I think. Vincent van Gogh and his brother. Some said Theo, some call it Leo. And I love Vincent van Gogh. Although recently, my favorite artist has been Monet. Just the softness of those colors. Let's see. Brokashimo says, I made hamburgers. Nice. Enjoy, my friend. Jacob drops Wendy's link. Leo says, in a lot of pain, man. Think I pulled something in my chest. And every moment and even breath is painful. Feels familiar, but still very uncomfortable. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Leo. What can you do? I know you want to keep moving. What can you do? Love Toy Pup says hi to Rocco. Rocco says hi. Daisy says, make sure you hit the like, everyone. Thank you, Daisy. Let's see. Velkashimo says, I'm about to check my subs. Let's see. If I'm not mistaken, you should be at 14 subs, right? Maybe more. 14 subs. Leo says, going to do a couple of seals and finish the workout with 6 counts. Unfortunate injury, but we keep going. So remember, you can always do squats. You can always do 4 counts. 4 count burpees and squats. Let's see. Toy Pup says, hi Daisy. Sorry my hands were busy. Evan says, would you ever do have these streams on a 100 milligrams of edibles? Probably. I think I would. Would be interesting, wouldn't it? Let's see. Toy Pup says, let's see. Hi. Just how's everyone? I'm super relaxed now that my live stream is done. Not just done. Nicely done. Very well done. Perfectly done. Toy Pups, once you get on a roll, it's just incredible to witness, incredible to watch. Everything just flows. I love seeing that. You know, Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, it's a super long name. It has like every consonant in the alphabet and not in any order that makes sense. He was one of the first to actually write about the state of flow, when everything drops. The words come magically, or you move in a magical fashion. It's just this mysterious force that takes charge. And you can see that when Toy Pups, when she's talking, and then all of a sudden she'll break out into a song. Everything just flows nicely. You guys can't see the hand gestures that I'm making. Let's see. Jacob's waving at Brother Leo. Toy Pup says, let's get this live to 50 likes today, guys. Share this live now, please. I don't know. We're at what, 19? But hey, it's 19 good people. Much appreciated, guys. I'm actually only going to be live for about 6 more minutes. But I'll be back. Let's see. Evan says, if you ever do the high live stream, let me know. I will. Hey, Nightmare. Nightmare says, hey, Eric, how's your day going? It's going really well. You know what? Our friend Stuart the Fish Whisperer asked me that, and I went into this long discussion about filming woodpeckers. And then I talked about inspiration, and I kept talking about it, and never got back to how my day was actually going. Hey, man, if your day starts, well, my day always starts the same every day. But when your busyness of the day starts with filming woodpeckers, that's a really good day. One of the things I wanted to talk about was a robin plopped down right in front of me, literally asking to be filmed. And I started turning away. I've seen robins before. Robins are, robins. We see them all the time. And that stopped me cold in my tracks. Who am I to dismiss the loveliness of a robin offering itself to be filmed? Nothing is ordinary. Nothing is ordinary. If you had never seen a robin before, it would be the most magical thing you've ever seen in your life. Beautiful and vibrant. But because we see him all the time, we start to get dismissive. And it was just a perfect moment of, in Zen, they call it Satori, instant awakening. Seeing a robin for the very first time, even though I've seen it thousands of times, but letting all those precepts drop and just looking at it again, and man, seeing the loveliness of a robin. Reminds me of a poem. So I'm going to end the live stream in a minute, but I'm going to read a poem. Not my poem, but maybe maybe the most beautiful poem ever written. I know, I say that about every poem that I'm about to read. I say that about every Rumi poem. But man, wait until you hear this, guys. Let me dive into the chat real quick, and then I'll read this, if you want. If you don't want, I should do a poll sometime. Do you want me to read poetry, or just shut up and keep talking about stuff? Trust me, the poem is better than my talk on about robins. Stuart says, Yogi, I got a live scheduled for 3 p.m. I will be there. I will be starting 3 p.m. Oh, 3 p.m. your time, right? That would be, man, I'm going to have to translate that. Doesn't matter. When Stuart goes live, if I'm awake, I hit the thumbs up, I share it out, and at the very least, I stop in to say hi. At the most, I would absolutely love to sit around and chat with him. Let's see. Rokushimo says, can I co-stream? I don't yet know how to do that, my friend. And I'm going to say yes, you can. If I ever figure out, if I ever really want to, and there's been a pretty big list of people who said they wouldn't mind co-streaming with me. So yes, but I don't know when. So it says, I don't even know you, sorry. Oh, he wants to co-stream with Stuart. Yeah, Stuart's a very specific channel. Stuart is, he talks about all kinds of great stuff, but he's a fishing and supporting fishermen channel. 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Your time. Gotcha. Okay, so that'll be 3 p.m. my time. All right, I will see you there. So I'm going to read a poem. Jacob says, thank you for having me on your live stream once again, Brother Mr. Yogi. Truly appreciate it. Much love and respect. Big salute. Jacob love, Jacob support. Those are perfect hashtags, by the way, for our friend Jacob, because that's what he does. If you look up above, if you've been here for 5 minutes or the hour plus that I've been live streaming, your link has been dropped because of Jacob. That's what Jacob does. All right. This is about a pig. This poem is about a pig. It's also about St. Francis, who I mentioned earlier, and his brother Leo. After I read it, let me know if you've ever heard anything. Me reading it won't be able to give it justice. It's absolutely beautiful. Let's see. Radio's podcast says, thank you and hope you're doing good. I am, my friend. Thank you. Go on Life says hi. Asia says howdy, y'all. Asia, my friend, how are you? And Life. Appreciate you guys being here. This is by Galway Kinnell, who is an Irish poet. As you can tell, Galway. And it's titled St. Francis and the Tao. This applies to what I said about I had to relearn the loveliness of a robin today. Let's see. Life says, like done, and yes, I'm fine. I'm glad to hear it, my friend. So here it goes. The bud stands for all things, even for those things that don't flower. For everything flowers from within, of self-blessing. Though sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness. To put a hand on the brow of the flower, and retell it in the words and in touch, it is lovely, until it flowers again from within of self-blessings, as St. Francis put his hand on the creased forehead of the sow and told her in words and in touch blessings of earth on the sow. And the sow began remembering all down her thick length, from the earthen snout all the way through the fodder and slop of its spiritual curl of tail. From the hard spininess spiked out from the spine, down through the great broken heart, to the sheer blue milk and dreaminess splurting and shuddering from the 14 teats into the 14 mouth, sucking and blowing beneath them, the long, perfect loveliness of sow. Man, I just got chills. Life says beautiful lines. That's our job. That's your job. You. I'm pointing at, you can't see it. I'm pointing at you. Don't care who it is. Your job, one, first and foremost, remember, teach yourself your own loveliness. Remember it. And then teach everyone else their own loveliness. Remember, the bud stands for all things, even for those things that don't flower, for everything flowers from within, of self-blessing, though sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness, to put a hand on the brow of the flower and retell it in words and in touch it is lovely until it flowers again from within. So guys, flower from within. Tell yourself, teach yourself, relearn your own loveliness, and then offer it to the world. Your loveliness cannot be touched by anyone else. So the world is going to try to convince you that you are not lovely. Someone does that every single day in my live stream. Every single day. Someone will come in to tell me I do not look like they would like me to look for whatever reason. They don't even know me. But they do that to everyone. You should be like this. You should sound like this. You should speak this way. You should look this way. You should have more hair. You should have less hair. You should have whatever. Everyone invites you to their world. And their world isn't lovely. Remember your loveliness and then teach that person their loveliness. You can't do it by pushing them away. You can't do it by shutting them up. You can't do it by deleting them on your live stream. You do it by constantly and consistently, consciously reminding them of their loveliness. Let's see. Life says, oh, beautiful topic, beautiful lines. My question is, if you are lovely, but the circumstances against you, what do you do? Sometimes circumstances do seem to be against you. They are circumstances. Circumstances don't last. Ever. Circumstances don't define you. Ever. Circumstances can reveal you. Circumstances can reveal your loveliness. But sometimes you got to go really deep because you've hidden your loveliness so well. Out of fear. There was a time in your life when you reveled and revealed in your own loveliness, delighted in it. Life was just so full of joy. And someone, probably a well-meaning adult, could have been another kid, came by and said something. Told you, hey, knock it off. Grow up. Life is hard. The world's tough. And that they taught you something else. They taught you to hide your loveliness. And we did. I love using the line, especially for our friend, Love Our Toy Pups. Coloring. One day you used to color all over the entire coloring book. Didn't care about lines. Didn't care what crayon you used. You used the crayon because it was pretty. Because you liked the color. The sky was purple. Grass was brown. Ocean was black. Birds were multicolored. Whatever. You didn't care. It was pretty. And then someone, teacher, another kid, said, nope, that's wrong. From that moment on, it was wrong. Not only that, we had to hide the fact. Man, if we're wrong, people can't know. I grew up with a speech impediment. And I was told from day one You're saying that wrong. You're saying that wrong. You're saying that wrong. People show up now on my live stream and say, you're saying it wrong. It's all an invitation. You don't need to accept it. Life says, sometimes people take advantage of our lovely nature, or so it seems. That keeps us scared. However, when you have only love to give away, you also have a great discernment. Because why would you ever exclude yourself from the love that you're giving away? If you are steeped in love and you only have love to give away, then you yourself are included in that love. Which means, would you ever allow anyone to harm your best friend? Would you ever allow anyone to harm your puppy, your cat, your mother, your father, your kids? All these things that you love unconditionally, include yourself in that. Include yourself in that. You can't be taken advantage of if you're wide open. Miss Flipper says, great lesson. Remember your loveliness. Oh man, it is, Miss Flipper. It really is. I need to remind myself that often. I buy into the stuff of the world. I buy into, I'm not that lovely. I buy into, man, I do say stuff funny. I buy into, man, I could use a little more hair. It would have to be a lot of hair. If I had a little more hair, I am not above the temptation of a comb over. So I don't want a little hair. Who wants a little bit of hair that I flip-flop across my head? I either want a lot of hair or I don't want any hair at all. Life says right. So are circumstances ever against us, or are they just circumstances? These are things, again, that we've learned. Sometimes circumstances will be against you. But are they, or are they just circumstances? Who is the you that these circumstances are against? And what happens if we didn't have that thought of against? What happens if that word itself didn't exist? Then what would it be? Life says, do you agree that nature can't be changed? I do agree. However, have you ever seen anyone's true nature? In yoga, it's called the 5 kleshas, the 5 afflictions of the mind. And we are firmly entrenched in those 5 kleshas. Kleshas are our attachments. We live our life attached to things. Concepts, thoughts, ideas, things. Aversions. We live our life being averse to things, pushing things aside, not doing things because we don't want to do the other thing. Aversions, things that we're averse to. We live our life having a fear of death. We fear death because, number 4, we believe that we are a small, separate entity, an ego, the voice in our head, the narration. And that's going to die. That's limited. So the ego tries to keep itself alive through specialness. Number 5 is ignorance. We are ignorant of who we truly are. We are ignorant of our true nature. So if all that is true of us, and amazingly so, this is thousands and thousands and thousands of years of yogic wisdom. And it's been true all these years, probably more so now because there's more mind clutter because of the business of the world. And neuroscience has actually affirmed this. So if we don't know who we are, why do you think your neighbor, he keeps stealing your parking spot and throws snow from their sidewalk over in your sidewalk? What makes you think they know their true nature any better? Now, here's what I love about in Course in Miracles. Those 5 kleshas, they've reduced it down to 1. Fear. Yoga says that we're living our life based upon those 5 kleshas, which is true. But all of those 5 kleshas stem from fear. We are living our life the fear that we are small, that we are separate, that we are an ego. We are living a belief that we are separate from the source. And we feel guilty for believing that. And we're projecting that outwards. Course in Miracles says the opposite of fear is love. However, quantifies that statement. That which is all-encompassing can truly have no opposite. So there is no opposite of love. There is just the illusion of our projections. Circumstances, people taking advantage of us, all of that is projections. If you want to escape that, what do? We look past all the busyness of the world. We look past all those concepts. We look past all of the circumstances. We look past those who might want to take advantage of us, and we see our true nature within them. And that their true nature is within us, the nature of Namaste. The divinity within me recognizes and salutes the divinity within you. Life says good thinking. Toy Pups gives us some heart emojis. I'm cooking people food this time. Are you live streaming your people food? Life says beautifully explained. A little long-winded. I maybe could have summed that up a little quicker. Hey guys, thanks for letting me read that poem. I love it. It's been a few months since I've read it. When I live stream this evening, remind me, I want to read St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians. Maybe the most beautiful thing ever written in the Bible. Maybe. So, all right. Lover Toy Pups is cooking people food. I need to cook myself some people food. Actually, I'm not going to cook it. I'm going to throw it in a bowl. It's going to be a very large salad. I'll be back, guys. Appreciate you coming in. Go on live. Thank you, man. Thank you for hanging out with me. Toy Pups, Asia, Miss Blipper. I'm looking forward to talking to you next Wednesday. I'm always happy when you make it to the live stream. Let's see. Weird Nose Podcast says, I've read that. Thank you. Hope you all was good. Just want to say hi. Stuart the Fish Whisperer is going to be live in... I won't be able to drop the link because I'm on my desktop, but I will have it posted on my community page. He's going to be live in, man, like 20 minutes. And you'll see what I mean. Go by and say hi. You'll see what I mean, that he is, one, an artist, and two, a Zen master. Life says, you have a lot of book collection behind you? I do, and to the side of me as well. And then the room next door has, man, 2, 3, 4 or more bookshelves. Bookshelf in the hallway, bookshelf in the next room, down in the living room and in the basement. Not all of them are mine. All the books in here and the next room, they're mine. But this is a house I grew up in. I moved in after my divorce to be a caregiver for my mom and a caregiver for my father. And they were school teachers. And forever, we always read. From, I can't remember a time in my life when I wasn't read to or reading myself. Stuart is back. Hey, Stuart. I was just getting ready to send people your way. I told them that you'd be live in about 20 minutes or so. So I'm going to be wrapping things up. Hey, Stuart, you want to drop your link? Stuart says, yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. You're welcome, my friend. Life says, it means you are an intellectual personality. But thank you. That's a high compliment, and I appreciate that. Nightmare says, great stream, Eric. Thank you, Nightmare. I appreciate you hanging out. A lot of times when I start reading some poetry, the live stream empties in a hurry. People flee. Let's see. Stuart says links don't work on verticals unless on a computer. Gotcha. See. Stuart says if anyone wants to click on my name as well, once Stuart goes live, I will be sharing out the link to the live. So you can go on my community page and you'll find the link. Make sure that you like and subscribe Stuart. He's a good guy. He's a good guy, and you know what? I'm really happy to call him a friend. Lupus says, funny I had a salad for dinner. Infinite thanks. You're welcome, my friend. Nightmare says, is that a fellow Scott or am I seeing things? It is a fellow Scott. It is. Sorry, says, sorry, neck gets slow. Hey, so Nightmare, definitely, man, enjoy your fellow Scott. He'll be talking trout fishing. He'll be tying flies. You'll get the zen and the art of tie flying as presented from Stuart the Fish Whisperer. Stuart says, thank you, Yogi, my brother. Absolutely. All right, with that, guys, I got to say goodbye. Did I see, was I mistaken? I thought I saw Anne's Crap Chat pop in. And I would hate for her to pop in and me not see it and not say hi. So I might not have seen it. If I did, even if I didn't, who cares? Hi, Anne's Crap Chat. Wherever you are. If you're here, if you're not here, wherever you are, hi, Anne's Crap Chat. My love to you, my friend. Eric Point says, another great live. Thank you, Eric Point. That means it is truly time to go. Stuart says, hello, Eric, my brother. Guys, I'm going to see you over at Stuart's and whoever else might be live. In the meantime, I will be live again in like 3 hours or so. Salute from Nightmare. Salute to you, my friend. Take care, guys.